In February 2004, the Navy said it would avoid using sonar in Puget Sound when orcas are present. A small sign of hope for Ken and perhaps for the whales.
Okay, come on in. Everybody kiss number 3.
In Florida, the big day has arrived. The pilot whales are now well enough to be released. NOAA has decided to release little number 7. If all goes well, it may be the youngest pilot whale ever returned to the wild.
Making a decision whether or not to release him was agonizing. No one's certain if he'll be able to find food on his own. But we're really hoping that we're putting him in a situation where he can learn from these other whales how to feed himself.
Over the past 2 months, number 7 has bonded with 3 other whales and is especially close to the oldest number 2. The young whale is also eating fish, even live fish. But of all the whales, the youngster will face the greatest risks when it is returned to the ocean, especially if it gets separated from the group.
The lone pilot whale doesn't have a very good chance at survival. We're going to be monitoring him very closely using a satellite tag, and if we see that he's having any problems out there, we're going to be there to recover him if necessary.
The biggest challenge is preserving the new pod's essential bonds. Number 7 and the whales he is closest to will ride together on this barge, which has been specially modified to support them. For Rick, this is a bittersweet moment.
Everybody is as excited as can be and preparing for the other part of this, which is the sadness of seeing some friends go away once and for all.
With volunteers, scientists, veterinarians, and the press, the flotilla numbers more than a dozen vessels, bound for the release point some 14 miles out to sea. The plan is to release all the whales at one time. Everything depends on whale number 2, the likely pod leader. She's the glue that holds the group together. Just a few miles from their destination, whale number 6 stops breathing. If she dies, the group will be smaller and more vulnerable as it swims to freedom. To reduce the stress on the whale, they submerge one end of the barge. And the waters of the Atlantic Ocean flood in. For long moments, the volunteers hold their breath. Then whale number 6 finally takes one of her own. When the boats reach their destination, a quiet sense of jubilation descends on the volunteers. In the long history of strandings, a unique moment is at hand. The simultaneous release of 5 pilot whales. For the first time in 114 days, the pilot whales feel the warm waters of the Gulf Stream. They are home. Whales 2, 4, and 6 move out together. Nearby, the youngster of the group is swimming not far from whale number 3.
We're happy. We're relieved.
Do it again.
So happy. So happy. It's incredible, and just can't wait to hear how they're doing out there.
Today it went flawlessly. The tracking devices will tell us in a couple weeks just how really well we did, and that's where the report card comes in.
Far to the north, the great bowhead whales are on the move. Their satellite tags continue to work, showing that these behemoths travel greater distances than anyone knew. And scientists recently learned that bowheads may live as long as 200 years, making them perhaps the oldest creatures on the planet. Some of these great whales may have been calves in Thomas Jefferson's time. In Florida, the lessons learned during the long struggle to keep the whales alive may save many more lives in future strandings. But for whale rehabilitators, there are always good days and bad. Just days after its release, pilot whale number 7, the youngster, separated from the group. Before it could be rescued, it disappeared. Its tag was discovered a week later, bearing evidence of a shark attack.